The U.S. Great Plains produce millions of tons of grain every single year, acting as a massive, high-yield engine that helps keep global food supplies stable and affordable. The region relies on a very specific biological rhythm. Winter wheat is planted in the autumn and lies dormant through the freezing winter. Then, it relies almost entirely on crucial spring rains to break dormancy and begin its final growth phase, a process known as greening up. But by late February 2026, those rains simply haven't arrived. Across Kansas, a massive percentage of the state's wheat crop is already rated in poor to very poor condition. As a result, wheat prices are facing sudden, intense upward pressure. Analysts are comparing current crop data to the devastating spring drought of 1996. This lack of rain is the direct result of a highly unusual three-part atmospheric convergence happening thousands of miles away over the Pacific Ocean. To understand why global food bills are poised to spike, we need to dissect the meteorological trap currently strangling the American Midwest. The first layer of this trap is a weak La Niña that is currently transitioning to a neutral ENSO phase. ENSO, or the El Niño Southern Oscillation, is a recurring climate pattern involving changes in the temperature of waters in the central and eastern tropical Pacific Ocean. Historically, the end of a La Niña cycle triggers highly volatile global weather. But instead of the atmosphere returning to a normal baseline during this transition, La Niña-like atmospheric signals are stubbornly persisting. This persistence locks a relentless, dry weather pattern in place from Kansas down to Texas, actively preventing the commodity markets from experiencing a mean reversion. A mean reversion is a financial theory suggesting that asset prices will eventually return to their long-term average levels. Zooming out to the Pacific, we find the second layer of the problem, negative global angular momentum, or GAM. GAM is a meteorological metric that measures the overall speed and rotational energy of the Earth's atmosphere. When GAM goes negative, it slows down the westerly wind anomalies within the tropical atmospheric circulation. This sluggish tropical circulation impacts the jet stream, splitting it into two separate currents that completely bypass the central United States. The consistent moisture normally traveling to the plains is physically diverted, creating a growing dry zone right over the American agricultural heartland. Together, negative GAM and the lingering La Niña systematically starve the region of water, setting the stage for a much deadlier biological blow. That brings us to the final layer of the weather trap, a strong negative Western Pacific oscillation. The WPO is an index tracking variations in atmospheric pressure over the northern Pacific, which heavily influences temperature and precipitation across North America. Right now, a negative WPO translates to a persistent high-pressure warm block forming specifically to the northwest of Alaska. Looking at this regional map, the high-pressure zone over Alaska acts as a massive physical slide, forcing freezing Arctic air masses to plunge straight down into the United States. This introduces the ultimate threat to the 2026 harvest, a biological process called winter kill. Winter kill occurs when extreme dehydration caused by the split jet stream combines with the severe cold of the Arctic plunge to physically destroy dormant crops. This devastating atmospheric convergence actively kills the wheat plants before they can even attempt their critical spring greenup. The American Midwest is currently locked in a vice, trapped by dry soil from below, starved of Pacific moisture from above, and battered by freezing air from the north. And the concern extends far beyond the United States. Agricultural analysts are monitoring similar volatile weather setups developing in rival growing regions around the world. The massive export infrastructure in Russia and the Black Sea region is also at risk, facing the potential for unseasonably early greenups that could be wiped out by sudden late spring freezes. There is an old market axiom that wheat has 9 lives due to its notorious hardiness, but the months of April and May represent the final, absolute lifeline for the current crop. If this 3-part climate trap holds and timely rains fail to arrive by May, massive crop abandonment across the plains will become unavoidable. In response, the commercial grain industry will be forced to initiate a major cascading price rally to account for the global deficit. The invisible atmospheric physics playing out thousands of miles away over the Pacific Ocean are aligning to cause a very sharp spike in the cost of food at dining tables worldwide.